This is something special for you. This is something special for you.
Just recording. I'm just setting the
Right.
recording so we don't miss any gold straight off. How you been then, alright?
Not too bad, not too bad. Sorry I've missed you the last couple of times. It's kind of been a bit sort of a hectic week, as always, running around.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's try and do
How's
something
life
then.
in your
So
end? Good?
yeah, not bad, yeah. Just
Still doing lots of video, obviously videography and heaps that sort of stuff in the scene, mountain bike scene still?
yeah. Yeah, a certain amount, yeah. I don't know if you knew, like my wife passed away like 3 years ago.
No, I didn't know that. Sorry to hear that, mate.
So that's kind of affected my ability to work how I'd want. Yeah, as much as I want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. Like, I mean, that's got to be it's a life-changing thing. It's something that's going to really kind of like life has these things that kind of they throw us these big curveballs sometimes, and they kind of fuck yeah, like for me, like yeah, as you probably know, like 10 years ago or whatever that I had that brain injury and that fucked me. Like I mean, it changed my whole career. Like it kind of. One minute I went from traveling the world, living my dream, to the next minute, hey, I'm laying in a bed that you can't do this, you can't do that,
Mm.
and yeah, life fucks us sometimes. So really sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So yeah, like this documentary's obviously like those early days of you and DMR and stuff.
The days when they first started, like I remember the days when they upgrade. Dan Beamish did upgrade, and it was like a bike shop there, and DMR was in like a little bloody shoebox of a room making pedals. That's where they first started. I remember them back in the day when I first used to go out to the BMX shop back then. That was in like 1998 or something like that.
Yeah. And then what was the scene like for you then? So like, because you came from a bit of motocross background, really, or not really, just kicking around the.
Nah, not all. I didn't learn to ride a motorbike. I was pretty much like a little shit that lived on a council estate, and kids rode mopeds and motorbikes around and caused trouble. And I was in that time where I was. There were these jumps out at Upgrade, or out there, out where DMR is, and we used to go out and ride these dirt jumps there. And I was on like a 100-pound mountain bike that my friends were into mountain biking and I really wasn't, and I kind of just sort of got into it, and that's where we met Paul Bliss and Jerry Dyer that time when I did the Dirt magazine stuff, and I kind of all snowballed from there. But yeah, I was yeah, just wanting to get into it, but obviously my parents lived in New Zealand and I had no money. So I kind of just did what I could do. I borrowed bikes and did that, and I kind of got the opening from Paul Bliss and Jerry Dyer back in the day.
Yeah, they kind of took you under their wing a little bit, didn't they? And um, used you, didn't they, in their bits and bobs.
Yeah, well, they used us in the content and stuff like that, and it kind of changed my life because it kind of gave me that whole, I mean, obviously, I guess I had like a natural ability and talent, but I didn't get to go ride the best of equipment. I didn't. I basically grew up with whatever I had. I kind of made do with and kind of did that. And so when people started giving me opportunities where they gave me actual better bikes to ride and products to use, I kind of took it in my stride and kind of went leaps and bounds with it. Because it was I'd come from nothing, and I was appreciative of everything that was being given to me, so I kind of used it and went a million miles an hour at it.
Yeah, yeah. That shows in the thing. So, do you remember anything from some of the? Because obviously, like, I've got like video footage to illustrate what we're talking about back in the day. You know, the stuff from Sprung 2, where you're like the first guy on Sprung 2 on the little
Yeah, yeah,
on the
yeah.
little Yamaha,
On Steve Pete's Pee Wee
on
and
the
stuff
little
like that,
Pee-wee,
I remember all those things.
yeah, on the Fiddy, and then um, what else do you remember from those sort of snippets of stuff that went down like those in those days? Is there anything like I remember hanging out with Paigey and at Cheddar, and you're doing that?
Yeah, well, in those early days, I mean, I used everybody like a sponge and kind of just, I was this young little 14, 15-year-old kid. And I guess they kind of liked my cockiness, I guess, maybe, and let me hang around, and put up my shit. But more the fact that, yeah, these four guys were the best in the country at the time. So I was kind of anything that I could learn from them. And as well, like it shows with anything that you do in life. Like if you're around the elite of any sport, you're gonna pick it up, like riding with them day in, day out. Even though I was this little grommet, I just picked it up, and I just every time I rode with those guys, they would give me tips and different things like that. So it was awesome to be able to use that to kind of snowball my riding ability.
Yeah, yeah. And then so we picked you for the Sprung road trip, which was kind of like
Yeah,
Neil Donahue, Rich Barlow, Ross Tricker, and yourself.
Rich Barlow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was Red Bull gave me some money. Well, they didn't give me some money. They paid for the rental car and some other stuff. I think
I remember us sliding it around the paddock in at
Newham,
at that event, whatever that event was. Was
bike,
that
bike
in
across. Yeah,
Plymouth or whatever?
yeah,
Yeah, the biker cross. Yeah, I remember it sliding it around the paddock in there. I think I was driving it, maybe.
yeah. And then you were like, we took you to Stonehenge, and you were just like, what a load of rubbish. Can you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I was like, fucking stones. Like, who wants to come all across the world to look at this shit? Like, yeah. Yeah, well, that just shows like how I was, and I was complete little toe rag. Like I was a product of my own, like of my own kind of where I was brought up. I
Yeah,
was basically a little shit. So I was amazed that I kind of I mean, and I copped a bit of shit from it from the other boys as well. I was a little chav, as they called them, which I was back then. But it's funny how times change.
yeah. That's funny. It's really cool. Um, so really, like, um, the downhill scene was sort of like evolving really quickly then. So like you say, like '98 was kind of the year you came in, and really like DMR sort of was just getting into its flow around like '97 with the V12 pedal came out actually in '97. So '98 was like
Yeah,
a big
yeah,
breakout year for them, and then they sponsored like Sprung 3 the next year. They had like an advert on it, and I think that sort of put that sort of because we made the advert for them, and it was just like it just seemed to match like the products that they were doing, the branding that they had, and so what I'm trying to say is like mountain bike scene was evolving really quickly. Was that something?
yeah. Well, it was
Was that
going from that gay spray-on lycra stuff that everybody wore to we were kind of changing it in regards to people running moto gear to people like with DMR's aspect of it. It was back in the day. you were banned from trails if you went there on a mountain bike. There was like no mountain bikes allowed. It was BMXs only allowed at trails. So we kind of, and back then it was 24-inch wheels. I run 24-inch wheels, so it was kind of, we were proving to the BMXs, hey, don't ban us from the trails because we ride a mountain bike. Ban us from the trails because we can't jump your jumps, you know. But if I can jump all the jumps better than you, shut the fuck up, you know. Like pretty much, like it was like yeah, you can't ban us for that for because we're on a different bike. And DMR's route then, you know, with what they were doing, they were building, you know, the ideal jump bikes with the Trail Star and things like that. Like they were, mountain bikes were going from um that alley sort of frame to kind of the BMX, you know, like to the DMR running the steel frames, you know. So they were kind of, you know, a lot stronger, and with the products, you know, like the pedals and things like that, they were you know, they were catered to that, you know, to jumping mountain bikes, you know.
Yeah, that's such good stuff you're saying there, and really, uh, so like, yeah, you just summed up so much with the attitude of the UK BMX is really in America. It wasn't like that. I think it was like a UK vibe. I mean,
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
yeah, like the UK trail riders would look at American trail videos on the East Coast trail videos, and they'd be like, I think there's a little devil one with a mountain biker getting beaten up by some BMXers at the trails. And I think like I think all the UK BMXers sort of thought, yeah, all mountain bikers are wankers. We're going to kill them all. But the fact is, like
Pretty much, it was like it was a scene for a while. Like it was kind of like they hated on you because there were these big wheels, and you were seen to be these gay mountain bikers that couldn't jump a fucking, you know, you couldn't jump anything, you know. And we were there to prove them wrong. And like on the Sprung video when we went and rode like a lot of these trails, we were showing us, you know, the four guys that went on that tour, we were showing them that we could jump everything there, you know, and trick them as well, you know.
yeah, and also I think like the thing that sprung and kind of Grip, which is trying to remember Grip magazine, which, and
Yeah, yeah,
Dirt,
yeah, yeah.
Dirt did it as well, but like it brought together like something that you didn't get from the other magazines. It just said, actually, BMX has been here for ages, motocross has been here for ages. Let's look at those things and learn from them and show them in our magazines. Whereas like MBUK was always like, yeah, no, we're just mountain bikes. We're the only sort of
And we're cross country, and we're kind of all everything that everybody hates, you know, and stuff
yeah,
like that. But
yeah, we're the only
I
thing.
think like looking at it all these years later on how the sport's gone, it's pretty cool to see like how motos transitioned into kind of the downhill sort of stuff, but then also it's kept its roots, and then mountain biking with the slope style and the BMX and stuff like that, and now with the tricks that the guys are doing on their bikes, you know, which is it's so cool to see it years later on and see it evolve.
Yeah, exactly. Like back in the day, I remember like X Games was massive, wasn't it? And it was always I always wondered if mountain biking could ever get to that kind of level. I know X Games is sort of still not really a mountain bike thing, but you look at slopestyle and stuff like that. It's like a
Yeah, when you look at slopestyle and it's taken its own
mm,
path, you know,
mm,
it's amazing. And now with what those athletes are doing and the jumps they're doing, the sizes of them
yeah,
is crazy, you know.
insane. When you see the tracks in real life, I was blown away
Yeah.
when I went to Whistler 2018. I was like, really, the big jumps don't look that big on TV, do they? And they're absolutely,
No, no, they don't. Like, I go to Rotorua,
yeah,
Crankworks Rotorua. I've been there from the first time. I've been there the last 4 years in a row because it's something that, you know, to see those slopestyle courses and to watch all the guys perform it's pretty cool, you know, to see that, you know, in the flesh, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think like going back to that everything coming together thing, like the good example sprung too at the very start. There's you on a peewee, Then there's Will Longdon on his BMX, like riding through those Roddington trails that look really racy.
Yeah,
And you've
yeah,
got like the whole of the downhill mountain bike scene, all on their hardtails or downhill bikes or whatever, all just playing around and having fun together on all these different bikes. And I think
yeah.
that's kind of what carried things through a lot. So, but
I think so too. It's kind of cool to look back on that sort of stuff and see, um, yeah, like I say, the evolution of kind of the sport and the basically we all love riding bikes, so it was kind of cool to bring everybody together. That's why we all got into it, is because we love jumping bikes, no matter what they was. So we all had that same passion. So to see it all coming together, whether it's BMX, moto, mountain bike, it's been an awesome kind of road to watch.
yeah, that's great. And I think like you in particular were really unique, and you probably inspired a lot of kids that maybe not have seen themselves in the magazines and videos until that point. Whereas when they saw you, they're like, "Oh, I'm like that kid." You probably did a lot
Yeah.
for bringing in like more people than normal. Because otherwise it's
Yeah,
just
well, for me to look at that now, it's pretty cool for you to say that, I've kind of inspired a lot of kids, and maybe a lot of kids did look at me and go, "Hey, I'm this toe rag little poor kid," but I've all I had was a love for riding bikes, and whether it was you know anywhere, like in a field somewhere, like I'd make a jump out of something and have fun on it. So it was kind of it's so cool to see kids all around UK scene grow and follow what I was doing and kind of want to be like that.
yeah. I mean, I think you definitely just stood out as different, and that's what was so valuable, I think. And otherwise, it's always just the same like middle class kids, and just the same kids the same type of people, really. And so yeah.
Yeah, well, for me, I guess I had a vision, and I kind of wanted to. I guess like I look at those old comments that I had back in the day, and it was Luke Smith's moto, and I mean I didn't ride dirt bikes then, but I had that goal of where I wanted to be, and that's where I went in the end. Because
Mm.
I always wanted to be a dirt bike rider, but uh, I kind of I had to start and learn the basics on a mountain bike, to start off with.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you covered like, I mean, your time at DMR was quite sort of short and intense, wasn't it? Because then you fucked off.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the first few years, and I guess it was the first sort of time when they had that. They started a race team, and they were kind of very new to it.
Mm,
So to where they've gone now, all those years later, these were the first kind of products. I mean, they only had the V12 pedal, they had the Trail Star. That was about it. There wasn't
mm.
there wasn't too much in regards to products. So for me to look at where they've come to, and 30 years later, and they're still cranking along is amazing.
Yeah. To go off a bit on I thought it'd be interesting just to hear some stuff where you what, what you got, what happened to you after that period then, and tell us a little bit about your career if you could sum that up, and then even talk.
Yeah, so after that, I mean, one day I remember saying uh to Damien and Matt, hey, I'm gonna go to New Zealand. My parents had been out here for 5 years prior, and I'd done the odd summer out here, and I planned to just come out for summer, and I was going to do summer to summer, and then I planned to be here for 3-4 months, and then I'd be back. And I remember Matt saying to me, "Hey, you're not coming back," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 I am. Yeah, yeah, I'll be back." And that was it. I got myself a dirt bike when I got here, and I didn't look back. I started riding my dirt bike every day, and within New Zealand, compared to England, you meet someone and everybody's so friendly, and you're at a track and they might go, "Oh yeah, yeah, I usually ride at my own track. I've got a track at my house and stuff like that." And being from, you know, a council estate in Brighton, that, you know, wasteland was where there were jippos. You know, there was no real wasteland in England, you know, or people with tracks, you know, and every place in New Zealand had motocross tracks, or people had their own digger at home and built their own jumps. So being able to ride the caliber of tracks and places around here, I picked it up real quick, and a year later, after jumping on a motorbike, I got signed to the Crusty Demons, which was a dream come true. You know, like I've watched videos of Twitch, Deegan, Seth, all those guys all through the years watching those Crusty videos, grew up watching them, and then to be sitting in a dressing room getting changed with them before the show was pretty mind blowing. You know. So yeah, after that, I carried on touring for the Crusty Demons for the next 10 years, and I travelled all over the world doing the tours, and I was very blessed to go to, you know, shoot video shoots all over, from Canada to Europe to Asia to all over, you know. And then in 2009, I had a brain injury. I was out practicing for a tour, and I had a big crash, and I was induced into a coma. My head hit the ground so hard, actually, yeah, my head hit the ground so hard that my helmet exploded and blew off me. So from there, I was induced into a coma where I spent 8 days, and then I spent 5.5 months in a brain rehabilitation unit where I had to relearn to walk, get all my motor skills back. Like I didn't know my family or friends really for the next 2 months. I was kind of pretty much like a zombie, rocking around in a chair, or laying in a bed, just kind of murmuring noises. And the best way to describe it is it's like a big hangover. You know, eventually, over time, my motor skills started coming back. So yeah, fast track 3-4 years later on, I was still doing tests, and I was still doing, like every month, I would be rigged up to uh, brain electrode machines where they would test my brain waves, and test kind of test how things was, because I had like a bunch of seizures from my accident. So they just wanted to make sure I was on the right path to getting better. And then I was out training some kids in Queenstown in the South Island of New Zealand, and I jumped on a dirt bike, and yeah, at the end of the day, I borrowed a bike off a kid and jumped on it, and did a few jumps. And that was the first time I'd been on a dirt bike in 4 years, even though people said I would never ride a dirt bike again. Well, doctors said I'd never ride a dirt bike again, and yeah, I was kind of out to prove them wrong. And my eighth jump, I turned around to the young kid and said, "Hey, do you mind if I do a backflip on your bike?" And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." And I rode off before anybody could stop me. And I did 2 straight jumps, and on the third jump, lined up a 75-foot backflip, and kind of come round to the wheels, and that was me back on the road again. And word spread pretty quick. The Nitro Circus dropped me an email saying that you're pretty crazy. We hear that you're back on a dirt bike. We're coming to New Zealand in April next year, and we want you to join the Nitro Circus.
No.
So for me, that was I got to go full circle, and not only prove everybody wrong, and prove the people that said that I would never ride a bike again, and I was back on a bike, and I was riding for the biggest touring act in the world. You know, I was riding for the Nitro Circus, so that was pretty cool.
That is an amazing story, Luke. I didn't actually know about the Nitro Circus thing. You just seem to keep.
Yeah, I was. Oh no, carry on. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I loved always just hearing little bits of news about what you were getting up to back home, and yeah,
Yeah, I guess it was cool because so many mountain bikers would have been like, "Oh, Luke vanished," you know, because one minute I was on the scene, and the next minute I just vanished. So I did have a lot of people hit me up going, "Hey, what happened? Where did you go?" You know. And I guess I jumped on a plane and went to the other side of the world. But I was set on chasing my dream of riding a dirt bike for a career, you know, and I guess that's where I always wanted to be, you know. I mean, I loved the back, you know, the past of what I had with mountain biking and jumping trails, and I mean that kind of built my roots on how I rode a moto bike, you know.
Uh,
But
And how did you find that transition to such a high level in freestyle motocross? And like, I mean, that's quite a level to get to, isn't it? To be, all right, you're all right on a mountain bike, but to go to being like in crusty tours, and that's like insane, isn't it? I mean, I mean,
yeah, I guess it was kind of like the from one little thing to the. But I guess that shows like you know, like how I say to people now in this day and age, like if a kid's got a dream, don't squash it, because that kid could go on to be the next best thing in whatever, you know. Like I was this little kind of punk kid, but I had a vision, and my goal was always to get to that level. I never thought I would get there, but you try and you try and you try, and I mean I had many ups and downs along the way of breaking bones and things like that, but I seemed to pick it up real quick, you know, like I found like on a BMX or a mountain bike, you know, you've only got a split second timing in the air, and you've got pedals that move, and you're trying to do all these double cans or indies or whatever. It's very hard, and you know, whereas on a motorbike you've got 4 or 5 seconds in the air, you know, of hang time, and when you let go of the bike, the thing flies with you, you know, because of the weight. So I just had to get my head around jumping these ginormous jumps, you know, and learning how to ride a motorbike, you know.
yeah. That's funny. That's funny. I suppose the freedom of New Zealand, like you said about that, there's always places to go, and you just don't get that in this country.
Yeah,
Do
well,
you?
just
Yeah.
nah. Like I find in England there were so many restrictions,
Hmm.
and yeah, they would build a skate park, or they would build a, back in my day anyway, they would build a BMX track, but they'd build it in the shittest area where the kids that would ride their bikes, you'd end up getting robbed or fucking held up for whatever, you know, stealing your bikes or whatever like that. They'd be in the most toe rag little places, you know. Um, I mean that might have changed now, but whereas New Zealand, everybody's got there's so, you know, within action sports, they, you know, it shows within snowboarding, skateboarding, moto, you know, like there's some world class athletes that come out of this little place, you know, and it just shows because of the backings, you know, like the government kind of build these cool BMX tracks or these mountain bike parks or whatever like that, and it's there's just a lot more help here.
Yeah, they sort of see alternative things as legitimate earlier. Like in Scotland, downhilling is like a legitimate sport, whereas in England they'd be like, "You what? You downhill? That's weird." But
Yeah,
it's
well, unless you play football, they don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's kind of,
yeah,
you're like every kid in England. Well, most kids in England grow up to be a football player. You know, so um, but like if you've got a love for riding bikes and things like that, well, you know, like you kind of. I mean, England's got some amazing skate parks indoors and things like that, but I don't think they're run by the council or whatever like that. You know, so they have that aspect of it because there's some great bike riders that come out of England. But in regards to, I mean, that's where you've got to go out into the woods and build your own trails and things like that, you know, because, um,
hmm.
but on a side of moto, you can't just go to some farmer's land and get a spade out and make some jumps, you know. You've got to have some machinery out there to do it. So
Yeah,
so where I wanted to go with moto, there was I had to move out here.
yeah, and it seemed like I don't know loads about the scene of the riders that tour on those things, but do they come from like all around the world generally? Are they mostly American?
Yeah, they come from generally all around the world. Like Australia is a big level. Like if you can see X Games, this a lot of the top riders in the world are from Australia because they're crazy and they've got such a high level of riders out there. I mean, it's like they're all pushing the bar to make a name for themselves. So the level's so high over there, and it's the it's only a stone's throw from New Zealand, so they're the land is kind of the same. They've got a great amount of property for people to go ride on.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, also on the tours, the guys are from all over the States or Canada.
yeah.
So
Yeah, you must
yeah.
have some mad stories from all those trips, then. And did they sort of take care of everything? You just turn up and they've got a bike for you and things like that, or
Yeah, well, so the deal would be was in your contract, you would say what model bike you rode, so they would either buy bikes in the countries. So I travel with half a motorbike in my bag, so like all my suspension and things like that, so that when I got to a country, I would put that on my bike, so that would feel like my bike at home.
yeah,
But now because the tours are so consistent, they a lot of the guys have a bike that they ship around the world with them, and they have their bikes at home. So they have bikes that just are on tour. They're bikes that are on tour all the time.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I went to see Nitro Circus in '02, um,
Oh, nice.
quite a few years back now. Yeah, it was a good hell of a show, really good.
Yeah, it's a cool show. Like
Mm,
it's with like for me as well. From that, like when I first started, our Willie was a scooter kid, and I was kind of like blown away that they were having a scooter, like a micro scooter kid on a tour. But that guy's shown his next level, on what he does on a BMX these days.
yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
like how he's pushing the bar at his airbag setup that he's got at home, and the tricks that he learns, from that big rolling that he has off the driveway.
yeah. I've seen them. Yeah,
It's like
yeah, mm,
it's pretty amazing, and not only that, like to like for the mega ramps and all the things that he's doing in skate parks and stuff like that now on a BMX, it just shows that the sport is just evolving so quick.
yeah. It seems like the Nitro Circus stuff's like is actually some sort of quite a lot of progression going on there. You see like from like the setup you're describing with the rolling and the airbags, and that's enabling like a lot of new stuff to get done in front of big crowd.
Yeah, well, I guess because every year, I mean, it changes. They've got to make the show different, like
Mm,
so it's a full choreographed 2.5 hour show. So each year the guys are going to get, hey, you need to learn this trick, or hey, let's interact this new trick that you've done or you won X Games with, into the show. So it's a full production team that runs it all.
yeah.
So
Just to bring it back to mountain bikes and stuff, do you still ride push bikes at all nowadays?
I do ride push bikes a bit. I actually just broke my pelvis 12 weeks ago on my bloody mountain bike, unfortunately. But I'm back riding it again now. Um, I've got what have I got? I've still got my DMR that I go play at the pump track on. Um, and I've got a Trek Slash that I go ride the sort of like the downhill slash enduro cross tracks.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Matt Riley said you
So
had.
yeah, it's a bit of fun. Like I mean, I've always loved my mountain bike, and it was cool after so many years to get back on one and play on it. I was blessed, like the DMR boys sent me out a bike. And yeah, I mean, I love playing at the pump track on it. I think for me, mountain bikes is a good skill builder.
Mm,
Because the technical ability that you've got, from wheeling and manualing jumps, and how light you've got to be on the balls of your feet to transitioning onto a moto, it helps so much. You can see other athletes do the same because you've kind of got to do it across all areas to be good at your master your craft.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think that's probably about it, Luke. Can I get you to say I'm Luke Smith and I'm down for life? That's the name of the film, Down for Life.
I'm down for life. Did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm Luke Smith and I'm down for life.
That's perfect. And then I was wondering if there's anything else we could sort of cover.
What's this going to be on? Are you editing some sort of like 30 years of DMR or something? Together for me?
Yeah. I should have explained that a bit better then. Yeah, it's like going to be like 30-minute sort of documentary about that sort of the period of time that DMRs existed, and like I was
Nice.
quite interested in how they sort of like existed in that transition from 95 through to now, when things changed from
Yeah.
XC bikes to not XC bikes. How like they sort of were there at the start, and they managed to sort of ride that wave. And then also they were kind of what we talked about, how they promoted the sort of dirt jump side of things as they're a lot more like niche of being from the South Coast. And that was kind of, there was trails near them. That was kind of their background, that sort of little bit of BMX crossover, introducing that
Yeah.
introducing that sort of new sort of trail style that Taj and Joe Rich kind of like.
We did some cool stuff as well. Like I got that dirt front cover of me doing that. I think I'm doing a double can on the front cover, and I'm on a DMR trail style there. So like things like that, were it was cool to see that transition with that. It wasn't so much just downhill bikes anymore.
Yeah, I mean Blissy and Paul were like Blissy and Jerry, sorry. They kind of to me they did so much for the scene, didn't they? Like in terms of just making it seem really fucking
Oh,
cool.
Blissy with the images and stuff like that. Like with the images that he created, he's a master. Like he had a vision on how things looked, and I loved working with him when I was a lot younger. On his his vision that he had on things, and the shots that he would get from the trails or things like that. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Is he still around on the scene?
Yeah. We're still mates. And
Nice.
yeah, he'd love to hear
When
from
you
you.
see him, say hello from me.
Yeah.
It'll be cool to. I wonder what's Jerry up to these days? Has he been locked up or whatever yet?
Do you know what he's doing? He does Big Jet TV.
I saw that thing, so I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't. It. Someone sent me it saying big jet of him going, oh holy shit,
Yeah.
like a jet flying over him or
Yeah.
something like that, and
So Jerry
it's
was
had
like
him.
the hype man, wasn't he, for downhill mountain biking? He was the hype man.
Yeah.
Like, and the whole of Dirt was just don't say anything bad about downhill and dirt jumping and four cross, whatever's coming through. But just this bloody mindedness to promote it no matter what. Nothing negative would ever go in those pages. It was always just pure positivity, which none of the other magazines had that approach, because they'd like review
No.
stuff and they'd say, yeah, it wasn't very good. Jerry'd be like, why would you waste
Yeah.
space in the magazine if it's not very good? Only put
Yeah.
like, you could just pick up Dirt and it was just like this pure sort of excitement, pages of excitement, one after the other. It was just really good. And then Blissy's images, you'd pour over them, wouldn't you? Just like.
Yeah, well, I just think like I mean, it was cool to see where Jerry went. Obviously, he went to the moto scene for a bit, and he lived in the States and did all that sort of stuff. But I lost contact with him. When did I lose? I think he went back to England for a bit, and then I was over there for the Crusty UK tour or something like that. And I was going to catch up with Paul, or maybe I did catch up with Paul. Oh, I did catch up with Paul at Wembley or something like that when I was riding there. Um, but Jerry hit me up to try be my agent or something like that, and I was like, nah. I just wasn't into it, and I think he fucking, uh, you know, got the shits over that a bit, maybe. But it is what it is, you know. I was, you know,
I stayed
that's just not where I was wanting to go, you know.
in 2001. I stayed at Jerry's house when he was full on into the motocross editor thing,
Yeah,
and I tagged along with him to. So I was staying with Milan at the time up in the hills, and then
nice.
we were making Sprung 5 together, and then Milan was like
Yeah,
sick of me, and he's like, "Can you just stay at Jerry's for a few days? I need to go and do some stuff without you around." So I was like, we were together like 3 months. You know what I mean? We need some space, and
yeah, yeah,
so yeah, I was like, yeah, yeah, and then Jerry's like, "Oh, come with me," and we go to these press conferences for like showy helmets and stuff, and you'd be like all the American press there, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, just pick a helmet before you leave. You know, make sure you tell us exactly what you want." And he'd just get all these hookups, and like his house was just full of merch and products, like from the motocross scene. Just like,
yeah. I went and spent a month out with him in California when he was living in Corona,
yeah,
and we went to Glen Helen. Oh, we went to the last round in Vegas when I was like 16.
no, yeah, yeah,
And somehow I managed to walk around the casinos and be able to get away with being that. And then from there we went to Glen Helen,
yeah,
and then in that week in between where he was interviewing everyone for the magazine and stuff, so all the pros that were riding and things like that. So we got to ride. It was cool. That was my first sort of start into really sort of getting into moto. I think that's what after that trip it made me move to New Zealand and go, hey, I want to push moto.
yeah, yeah. And that
Um,
being there in LA, right in the heart of the scene, you feel like you really could do anything there as well. I think it gives you that feeling, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, you're meeting all you know,
Yeah,
like with him as well. I was
yeah,
meeting all those big brands, and you meet all these. You know, we met Troy Lee. We went all these places, and it was like the head of everywhere. You know,
yeah,
that you were meeting.
yeah. I mean,
So it.
I remember going to the go kart track, and it'd be like, well, I think we went with Lopes, but then uh, McGrath's there, you know, because it's like a Yamaha go kart thing, and then you just find you're just hanging out with Jeremy McGrath. You're like,
Yeah,
"Mm,
same here. We were like I remember walking the track in Vegas, and I'm walking it with Jerry and McGrath.
yeah,
You know, and
yeah,
I was just like, how is it like? You know, like I'm walking the track with McGrath. Like
yeah." You're
it
talking
was
about
mind blowing. You know.
being a fan of Crusty Demons of Dirt and just seeing like all those people. It just must have been amazing for you as well. I was just going to see if I could show you some Sprung stuff, just for fun. Just get
I
your
might not
reaction
see it
to
from
it
there. I might
because
have
you've
to
not
put the
seen it
camera
for a
like
few.
that.
Hang on,
Oh yeah, Sprung too.
can you see it? Oh yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, um,
Those Uckfield trails, they were cool. Those ones that I used to ride at. Oh yeah, on the Pee-wee 50. Yeah, that's cool. That's funny.
that was Rollington Trails. That was near the National at Eastridge or something. You see, there's all actual BMXs just in the first few minutes of Sprung. You wouldn't think it was.
It's quite funny. I got to catch up with Longdon and PD and all those guys like years later um, in Rotorua.
Yeah,
There was the World Cup in Rotorua before, obviously, Crankworks happened. And I was riding moto in the main street. I was doing a show for some brand on the main street. So it was cool to kind of catch up with
yeah,
everyone.
yeah. I bet they loved that. Yeah, and Stu Hughes and all that. So it's just like a vibe, isn't it? Like just the best, funny little time, really. I don't know if you.
Good summer trails, you know?
Yeah, but like that was before like people didn't know as much about trails either. Then did they? You know, that's just like
Nah, mountain biking wasn't. Well, mountain biking UK never pushed any of
not
that sort of
really,
stuff, you
no.
know?
But they'd always fudge stuff, wouldn't they? They'd always be like, um, they'd always sort of fake it, you know. Whereas Sprung was a bit more real. And then can you remember we had this Paul Roberts thing and he sat there telling kids like, don't, if you go to the trails, speak to the locals, don't ignore them, and if you wreck a jump, ask if you can fix it and stuff. He's basically like
He was angry man all the time, though, wasn't he?
we
You
were
know.
like teaching, how to behave at BMX trails, just so it wasn't.
Yeah, well, that was it. If you cased the jump, like it was all like, put the work in, don't hesitate to pick up a spade and kind of fix your mistake and, you know, all that sort of stuff, which was pretty cool, like you say, like we were, we were teaching trail etiquette,
Yeah, and that's the start of his section where he's on the basically like a cross country mountain bike, you know, with the seat down.
Yeah.
That's all we had, and then you had the trail star sort of came along like in the year after this, and then all of a sudden there was a bike that you could sort of that was built for it a bit more. I mean that actually looked quite fun, that Diamondback or whatever he's on, I think. And then oh yeah,
Yeah, it was, yeah, as I say, it was low travel kind of mountain bikes that we could kind of, um yeah, it was cool to be able to show people, and then some of the brands went, obviously I know DMR did it as well. I had single speed on my trail star,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so you were kind of going to like the three-piece cranks like BMX with the single speed,
yeah. I mean, here you've got like Barlow is on a hardtail, and they're sessioning with like Matt Farmer who's on like his proper race downhill bike, and then so as
Yeah.
everyone's mixing, there's Cunny just being like a lunatic. Oh yeah, that's it. Remember the Malverns? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to talk about this. So this is the Malverns, Africa Bambaataa doing his little intro.
Yeah, the Melbournes where they had like they first had that
If
bike
you,
across
if you
sort of
remember that
thing, didn't
corner
they?
there, yeah. See, this is the four up. This is like the bit of original feature here.
Well, back in the day with mountain biking back then, it was slopestyle was, like you had your own track and you went down, you went through all those flags and stuff, So this was the changing of it, wasn't it? This was the Biker X was the kind of the reasoning behind the moto sort of thing where there was four riders going down the same course at once and you were battling bar to bar,
Yeah, yeah. They got it right at that racer, didn't they? If you remember that, it was like a big fuss because the ramp, that wooden MBR ramp thing, was deadly in the wet.
Yeah, well, you'd land on it, and it was when it got the wet dew on it and
Yeah,
and and rain, it was just like
yeah, it's just
ice. So guys were just landing and just washing out,
yeah.
wasn't they?
It's like a huge debate about what to do to it. But yeah, it worked out good in the end. And then they had like a dual slalom with Pagey and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were there. I think you were definitely there. A couple of clips of you. Um, and then if you go to Sprung 4, let's look at one of the.
Yeah, Sprung Falls when we did the road
Oh,
trip,
yeah,
wasn't it? And we did all those
remember
different
this Rich Goff's
trails.
backyard?
Rich Goff's back garden, yeah, that was pretty cool. Where was that? Gloucester or somewhere?
Yeah, like Forest of Dean. Yeah, yeah. There's Blissy that taking the snaps.
Yeah, they were cool. It was good to. I think I'm riding a DMR
Yeah, yeah,
there.
for sure. Yeah, I think you were always trying to just get that moto whip on, weren't you? But the bike wasn't heavy enough for you to hang on.
Nah, yeah, well, and as well, I had no airtime. It was kind of one of those things. I had those. Um, yeah, like like you only had like a bare second in it. So I always wanted to get those carving up a jump and be able to get those whips like the Moto Boys. That was kind of I watched Deegan and all those guys doing that, and that's kind of where I wanted to kind of go with.
Yeah. To be fair, if you'd have stuck with mountain biking, you'd probably have a laugh at one of those like those. It's all gone big jumps now, isn't it? Like the Fast series was like 75.
Yeah, they have.
You,
Yeah,
you know, like those Nico.
I reckon that if that was this day and age, like if I was restarting my youth then, like I definitely would have been all part of all those big massive jumps.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I've got no doubt about that, Luke. There's one thing you was not scared. Okay, and then this is the road trip. Look, this you're all in the car. Look, as they go swimming.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's the Don. This is all your little intro clips. Yeah, I interviewed the Don for this video as well, and Trick is going to be on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Barlow's. I'm not sure what Barlow's up to. I don't think he's up to that much riding wise now.
They don't ride these days, many of
No,
those
they
boys,
all
or
like
they
the
still do.
Don rides. He's presenter on that electric mountain bike show. Um,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
he's doing really well. And then Ross is like like a civil engineer. He retrained, and but he still races. He still rides. So he He raced a lot of
Nice.
cyclocross. He's like really like he'd win
Yeah,
everything up in his region with for that. And then I
nice.
think he's got a DMR have sent him a bike, and he's going to, you know, come back to do a race at Malvern's, I think.
Nice. That's cool. It's cool to see that a lot of those guys are still riding. I still see uh like Steve Gill and stuff like that. He
Yeah,
rides trails and stuff a lot, which is awesome.
yeah, he's going to be in this film. So yeah, he's had a
Oh,
few
wicked.
back problems riding wise lately, but he's still riding. You know, he's still doing it. So
Rob Horton, I see he still rides as well, which is
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So he rides with that. I don't know if you ever met him, but Jimmy Pratt. He,
Nah, I don't
yeah,
think I
he's like
did.
this mad kid that just like dug trails and rode BMX, always rode mountain bikes, but he was probably one of the first mountain bikers where everyone in the UK BMX scene was like, "Have you seen Jimmy ride? You know, have you seen that kid Jimmy Pratt?" Like, and it was just like he
Yeah,
made mountain biking really cool. Um,
nice.
yeah, really cool for like Epsom Trails. There's a section on like I did these films called Earthed after Sprung, and I did a
Yeah,
section on that with Jimmy. Yeah, and it was just really, really, really good. So he's got this
wicked.
spot at Leatherhead Trails, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
uh, he I'll stop the screen share now. Yeah, so he
It's cool to see the transition with guys like where they still
yeah,
go, you know, that they're still doing
yeah,
it, you know? Like I see Rob Horton's still doing it. He does all the Red Bull stuff now,
yeah.
doesn't he?
Rob
Not Rob Horton, Rob
Warner,
Warner.
yeah, 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 yeah. He's doing really well. He did a Gypsy Tales podcast the other day. You see that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
big time, isn't it, for him?
Talking about like Eli Tomac
Mm.
and Johnny Tomac and stuff like that, which is
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that's pretty big for Warner, isn't it? I think, like, you know, like Gypsy Tales seems like the pinnacle of motocross content at the moment online, anyway.
Yeah,
All right,
completely, yeah.
so I think that's enough then, Luke, because otherwise we'd be here all night, couldn't we? Really, so or all morning for you.
That's all good, yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing to
yeah.
hear from you and see what you've been up to.
No, no, it's good to talk to you as well.
Yeah,
It's been many
yeah,
years, you know?
yeah. I've just been like just maintaining like a little salary doing video stuff my whole life and just
Nice.
keeping it going. I like work for you know Charge Bikes? Do you ever hear of them? They sort of came about
Nah, I don't know.
they came about like 2004 sort of thing. And then
Oh
my
yeah, yeah.
friend started it, and it was kind of like they did cross country bikes, and he had like a jump bike based off of like a Brian Lopes four cross bike, and then he did like a
Yeah.
fixie bike for like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and he got it exactly the right time when that whole scene just blew up, and basically selling like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
fixie bikes by the container load to shops in London, and and
Wow.
so that's Charge Bikes, and then I did all their like promo videos. So I kind of like I got sick of
Nice.
going to World Cups every year and traveling and
Yeah, you do get sick of living out of a bag,
Yeah,
don't you? You
well,
know.
and my daughter was born in 2009, so
Oh yeah,
so
nice.
and you kind of priorities change, don't you? You sort of, I don't care if I'm at that race anymore. I just need to be at home with my daughter, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
fair enough. Yeah.
yeah, and like I still,
Where's DMR these days? Are they in the same spot?
yeah, it's at Horsham. They've got like a big warehouse now. It's not down where it's
Oh
not
yeah,
down where
nice.
they used to be. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
So I don't think you'd have been there, but yeah, big like they used to sell aircraft parts from this big warehouse, and they bought it.
Because they still go down there a bit, doesn't they? Because they said that. I'm sure Matt said to me the other day that they were at
Well,
Golden
that's
Barns or
because I
something.
made them go down there for this. I was filming. I
Oh,
was
okay, yeah,
filming them, and we were like sat around and
yeah. Well, because how old are those boys
yeah, well, they're
now?
a couple of years older than me, not much. I'm 49 now, so they must be just like
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like 50, 53, something like that, probably. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
So how old are you now?
Oh wow, it's
Yeah,
42.
yeah.
So yeah,
And
I'm getting old now from a little
and then
fucking
you're doing
grommet.
rapping as well, like for vehicle rap.
Yeah, I vinyl wrap cars. So like, when I had my brain injury, I was like, well, what the fuck do I do? I've only ever ridden a bike for my
Yeah,
life, So I got into wrapping. I kind of do high end cars, So I kind of do like Audi R8s,
yeah,
Porsches, things like that. Because I don't really want to deal with pieces of
yeah,
shit. And as well, it makes me like going to work, because
yeah,
I might wrap a moto race truck or something like that. I kind of get to kind of be around stuff that I want to
yeah.
be around.
Is that your own business you started?
Yeah, it's my own business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well done. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and yeah. So are you still riding professionally now at all, or do you still?
Nah, not now. Like, I'll do the odd thing. Like I've had Krusty's. I got hit up. I was going to ride a tour last year or the year before, but it was the dodgy promoter that had taken over it, and kind of he offered. I would have done it if he had paid me the money up front that they were going to pay me, but I wasn't just going to do it. Like it's one of those things that he's a bit dodgy, and a few of the older guys have kind of fallen out with Krusty's now. Like Seth, he's one of my good friends that I talk to a lot. Bubba just recently died. He had a heart attack,
Right.
so he was one of the main guys from Krusty's, and but partying for 30 years and living the way that he did and eating everything and frying everything, he was gonna die, like he had a heart attack, and I was like, man, and then he saw it as having his valves cleaned and he was good to go on tour again, and I'm like, man, you got to cut that shit out, because fuck, he would party for days and then he would wake up and fry everything and then edit the next trusty DVD, that was him,
Yeah,
he was a fun man, but he was a wild man,
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to go and watch some old Krusty films on YouTube or something because man, they were like
Yeah, well, just like those
yeah,
that era, like back then, freestyle motocross, that era was wild times, So I mean, it's changed a lot more now because of the guys. You've got to be an athlete to go out and go do a triple backflip on a motorbike. I mean, yeah, you've got to be crazy, but you've got to eat, sleep, and breathe riding a foam pit,
yeah, yeah, right, yeah, yeah. I mean, I look back. I think
Because at the end of the day, it's still a dirt bike,
yeah,
You're going 30, 40 feet in the air, and when you let go of that thing, fuck, I don't know why you wave your arms and legs because you can't fly. And at the end of the day, it's a motorbike chasing you that weighs, fuck, I don't know, 110 pound or whatever, So it's when it hits you, it hurts.
yeah,
And there's a very rare chance that you're not going to break something,
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, going back to Krusty, like just the nostalgia with that. I mean, I remember watching it before I made Sprung. It was like one of the biggest influences. in video sort of content of that era. It defined like Generation X, really. Crusty Demons, and then I probably watched one of the Crusty films like at least once or twice a week the whole time we made Sprung. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I remember being in Jerry's office, and basically before we'd go mountain biking, we'd put on Crusty 3 or whatever the hell it was at that
Yeah,
time, and get inspired to go ride and watch those
yeah,
things. And you'd watch the moto videos. He'd have all the moto videos arrive, like Moto Triple X and all those videos. But the Crusty videos was the main one. They
yeah,
come out once a year, and it was the kind of the
yeah.
Bible of moto and mountain bike, any push bike sort of
I
thing, you
had a
know.
copy of the Black Flies film. Did you have that one? It was like
Yeah, yeah, I
that
remember
was
that. Yeah.
pretty on a par. I think that was like a lot of the same crew, and it's just that was a pretty inspirational film, really. I mean, just from a little like as a kid in Wiltshire growing up, it sort of seemed like such a million miles away, but you could just sort of
Well, Southern California was the place to
yeah,
go, wasn't it? You know,
but you could just get.
that's where we all wanted to
I
be. You
guess
know.
you could just get a bit of that culture in your life, couldn't you? All kids are after, whether it's skating or BMX or moto culture. You're all just
Yeah,
trying to get
completely.
a piece of that in our heads, in our own little corners of the world. All right, man. No, there's
Yeah,
so
completely.
much
Yeah.
stuff there. That was really good, and
No, awesome. Good to talk to you and stuff like
yeah,
that. And yeah, keep us posted on how things are, and say hi to Blissy for me and the boys at DMR. And yeah, we'll
yeah,
talk
man.
soon.
All right, catch you later.
Thanks, mate. Have a
Yeah,
good day.
thanks a lot. See you. Bye.
Cheers. See you. Bye.